top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signs the 2023 national budget over a week after both chambers of Congress ratified the final version.
The Philippine Senate awaits the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund Bill after its swift passage by the House following the President's urgent certification.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority expects heavier traffic next week as holiday season approaches.
And United States President Joe Biden supports the African Union to join the Group of 20 at the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, December 16, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado.
First in the news, the fate of the controversial Maharlika Investment Fund Bill is now in the hands of the Senate after the House swiftly passed the proposed measure following the President's urgent certification. A minority senator, meanwhile, maintains the bill's passage should not be rushed and must undergo scrutiny. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
The Senate is still awaiting the final version of the proposed Maharlika Investment Fund, or MIF, from the House of Representatives. House Bill 6608 hurdled both second and third reading on the same day after President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. certified the bill as urgent. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri says the Senate would probably begin the committee hearings on the proposal in mid-February of next year. Both chambers of Congress are currently in session break until January 23, 2023. The Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions and Currencies will lead the proceedings on the proposed MIF, with neophyte Senator Mark Villar as its chairperson. Villar has yet to comment on the matter. Zubiri notes that the speed of the bill's passage will depend on the ability of the committee's head during the course of the hearings and debates. The Senate President vows that the proposal will undergo the proper legislative processes and that the Senate will study the proposal. For Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel, the upper chamber must ensure that the bill will not be rushed and will undergo scrutiny. Pimentel says they have to examine the proposed measure down to the smallest detail. The minority bloc also questioned the need to certify the bill as urgent. Pimentel believes it could be an abuse of presidential powers, citing the constitutional requirement that there must be a public emergency or calamity in certifying the need for the bill's immediate enactment. Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros also questioned the president's move, saying that the government should urgently address instead the high prices of commodities, increase in salary of teachers and health workers, and immediate aid to various sectors.
This Maharlika Wealth Fund is premature and a misplaced priority. Distracted na naman tayo.
Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has signed into law the country's 2023 national budget. He also thanked the legislator for the swift passage of his administration's first ever budget. This report will tell us why.
The 5.268 trillion peso General Appropriations Act has been signed into law. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed the 2023 national budget over a week after both chambers of Congress ratified the final version. It was witnessed by House Speaker and his cousin Martin Romualdez and Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, other lawmakers, cabinet members, and diplomats. Marcos thanked the legislators for the swift passage of his administration's first ever budget. He emphasized its importance in supporting the administration's roadmap in the coming year.
I will have, I suppose, a Merry Christmas because this is as fine a Christmas gift as can be received by any president from his legislature. So the fact that, as Speaker Martin continually reminds me, this is the quickest and the fastest, and the SP, the fastest passage of the national budget that we have seen so far.
The timely passage of the budget, according to the president, also shows the solidarity between the executive and legislative departments.
The legislature has been very cooperative in making what amendments that we find are necessary to the laws in terms of investment, in terms of our financial policy, all of these elements that are important for us to position ourselves in the new I nearly said new society. In the new economy after the pandemic.
Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva also called the enactment of the national budget as a gift to the Filipino nation. The signing of the budget, Villanueva says, will ensure the implementation of various programs that would spur economic growth and generate jobs and livelihood to Filipinos. The Senate leader adds their next job is to ensure transparency and accountability in the government's use of public funds. Villanueva vows they will never let the public funds to be put to waste or fall to corruption. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, confirmed Friday, December 16, a 24-year-old Filipino male backpacker was among foreign tourists left stranded in Machu Picchu in Peru amid protests that led to airport closure. It was confirmed by the department that Philippine Embassy in Chile that they were able to contact the Filipino national during a phone call and said that he is in good condition and sounded well. The Filipino backpacker also added that he plans to continue with his travel in the region as soon as flights to Lima resume. The embassy has promised that they will continue to check on his safety and condition, and they have shared the contact details of the Filipino community coordinator in Peru. It was confirmed by the embassy that the Peruvian authorities are prioritizing the opening of regional airports by December 18. The problems on the transportation and flights in Peru has been caused by the widespread protests across Peru triggered by the ouster and arrest of former President Pedro Castillo.
The Philippines Weather Bureau and the Philippine Coast Guard will start the pilot test of the new gale warning. This is expected to lessen the problems of individuals being stranded, especially when a tropical cyclone threatens the country. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
When a tropical cyclone is about to cross the country, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, is raising wind signals in areas forecasted to be affected. This warning prompts the Philippine Coast Guard to suspend sea travels to avoid a possible disaster that may happen due to gigantic waves and strong winds. But a major problem has been arising: the overcrowded vehicles and stranded individuals in ports. It also affects the local economy, like in Marinduque, especially if it will last for 2 to 3 days.
Malaki po ang epekto nito sa amin. Unang-una yung supply ng foods, supply ng mga diesels ng aming crudo, fuel na dinadala sa probinsya. Kasi pag nawalan ng supply ng crudo ang mga makina, ito po'y source ng power interruption. At yung supply ng pagkain ng mga groceries, etc. at yung mga materials coming from Lucena na dinadala sa Marinduque.
When PAGASA raised signal number 1 in a particular area, sea travel is automatically not allowed. PAGASA Administrator Dr. Vicente Malano admits that there should be revisions in issuance of warning and implementation of policies.
Dapat mayroon tayong bagong policy depending on the number of hours of travel from one area to another area.
Weather Division Chief Juanito Galang, on the other hand, noted that they have already drafted the new guidelines and it only needs pilot testing.
So yung bagong warning, meron na siyang 3 level. Bawat level, nakalagay po doon kung anong tonnage lang ang pwedeng lumayag. So makakatulong po ito na ito na yung magiging basis ngayon in terms of maritime transport.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for our news abroad, In an effort to develop stronger relations with the African nations, United States President Joe Biden shows his support for the African Union to join the Group of 20. Nerissa Dando tells us the details live. Yes, Nerissa?
Good evening, Marielle. United States President Joe Biden expressed his support for the move on Thursday, December 15th at the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, stating that the African leadership and innovation were key qualities to tackle world issues. The summit, which focused on partnering with African Union's Agenda 2063, gathered delegates from over 40 African nations, the first to do so after previous U.S. President Barack Obama did 8 years back.
Africa belongs to the table in every room where global challenges are being discussed, and in every institution where discussions are taking place. That's why I announced in September at the United Nations General Assembly that the United States fully supports reforming the UN Security Council to include permanent representation for Africa. And today I'm also calling for the African Union to join the G20 as a permanent member of the G20.
Biden's support comes after new investments which the United States made in Africa were announced, as well as other trade deals in the continent, which were also attempts to re-establish international connections after the U.S. nation pulled away from nations around the world as a result of Donald Trump's America First policy. Meanwhile, President Biden closed the summit by addressing the United States' efforts to provide $100 billion with an additional $2 billion worth of help for Africa's food security and food systems resilience. Marielle?
Thank you, Nerissa Dando, for that live report. The administration of United States President Joe Biden has announced that free at-home COVID-19 tests will be available for U.S. households, which has started Thursday, December 15. COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha said in a briefing that each household can order up to 4 tests as part of the administration's plan to fight COVID-19 over the upcoming winter season. He also emphasized that the country is experiencing its worst flu season in a while, and COVID-19 cases have been rising steadily over the last weeks. Therefore, he added that the best way to fight these diseases is to keep updated with flu shots and COVID-19 boosters. The program has been rolled out earlier in this year, but was temporarily paused because health officials wanted to preserve tests in case there is a spike in COVID cases during the winter. The tests can be ordered from the government website covid.gov and will also be made available to major food banks across the country. The Biden administration is expected to start the first deliveries by the 4th week of December. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Marielle. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, expects heavier traffic next week as holiday season approaches. JP Duñez will tell us why.
430,000 vehicles along EDSA is expected next week, according to Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA. This is the increase expected to the volume of vehicles as holiday season approaches. Attorney Melissa Karunungan, the spokesperson of MMDA, said heavier traffic could be expected from December 19 to 23.
On those days po, pabalik na po mga taga-probinsya. So we're in full force sa mga traffic enforcers namin sa mga bus stations at bus terminals on December 19 to 23 po.
Pagka mga ganitong oras hindi pa matraffic eh. Ngayon mga ilang araw na sobrang traffic. Grabe, inabot kami minsan ng kulang isang oras. Dito nga lang pag sumakay papuntang Cubao, inabot na kami ng medya ora eh.
Ang traffic naman dito sa EDSA, minsan pag talagang kasagsagan talaga ng traffic. Tulad ngayon, matraffic na yan, hanggang doon na sa Pasay yan. Matagal yan, 2 oras yan, may gate. Mabigat na yan.
MMDA advises motorists to plan their trips. It could be better to use alternative routes in Metro Manila, especially the mabuhay lanes once heavy traffic built up in major thoroughfares. Attorney Karunungan said build-up of traffics are expected along the malls and areas with ongoing flagship transport project of the government.
Pag nakikita po nila na congested na po ang EDSA or major thoroughfares, pwede nila po gamitin yung mga mabuhay lane. Yung pinaka-accessible po ang mabuhay lane number 1, may pass through 5 LGUs from Quezon City to San Juan to Mandaluyong to Makati to Pasay City po.
In November, MMDA recorded 417,000 vehicles along EDSA, which is above the 405,000 highest recorded in 2019 before the pandemic hits the country. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Philippine Border Committee or PHBC and Indonesian Border Committee or IDBC planned Friday, December 16 to increase the number of their sea patrols in the south in 2023 to boost border control. This measure has been announced as part of the 12-point agenda being proposed by both governments, according to Lieutenant General Greg Almerol, the Eastern Mindanao Command or East MINCOM Commander, and Rear Admiral Dr. TSNB Hutabarat, MMS Commander of the Indonesian Navy's 2nd Fleet Command and IDBC Chairperson. This decision has been agreed upon by the Coordinated Patrol Philippines-Indonesia or CORPAT Phil-Indo activity happened on Wednesday, December 14. In a statement, Almerol has assured that they will increase the frequency of conducting patrols once a month, especially in cases of shipwreck due to calamities and typhoons, and to address the concerns of fishermen in those areas. He also stressed the importance for both countries to adopt new strategies that will boost the coordinated patrol's effectiveness. The CORPAT Phil-Indo has been known as a joint patrol between the Indonesian Navy and the Philippine Navy that intends to enhance interoperability and maritime border security of both countries against the incidents of piracy, illegal crossing, and other criminal activities. The CORPAT exercises have begun on March 28 to 30 of this year, followed by the second leg on July 5 to 11 with an opening ceremony in Manado City, Indonesia. The third leg of the activity happened last week of October, and the fourth leg from December 11 to 16 with the closing ceremony in the Philippines.
The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has announced in a command conference on Friday, December 16, that it is ready for the holding of the plebiscite for the cityhood of Baliwag Town in Bulacan on Saturday, December 17. According to COMELEC spokesperson John Rex Laudianco, the said plebiscite in Baliwag will involve over 100,000 registered voters that would determine whether their hometown would be converted into a city. The town has 108,572 registered voters from 27 barangays who are eligible to cast their ballots. On Saturday, residents can cast their ballots in a total of 200 clustered precincts in 26 voting centers from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. The official ballot would show a straightforward question. The voters will be asked to answer yes or no if they are in favor of converting Baliwag from a municipality into a component city of Bulacan. The poll body said the votes will be counted and canvassed immediately upon the closing of voting hours. The plebiscite board of canvassers will do the canvassing of votes and proclamation of the results by early evening or at 6 p.m. The election was set after the ratification of Republic Act 11929, which has an approved budget of 24 million pesos and will convert the municipality into a component city in the province of Bulacan. Once ratified, and if yes votes win in the plebiscite, Baliwag will become Bulacan's fourth component city after Maykawayan, San Jose del Monte, and the provincial capital of Malolos, but will remain in Bulacan's first legislative district.
Uncertified electronic appliances have been confiscated by the Department of Trade and Industry in Manila. This is after DTI Undersecretary Attorney Ruth Castello conducted inspection in some supermarkets to ensure certification of products for public safety. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
Department of Trade and Industry has confiscated uncertified electronic appliances following inspection in some supermarkets in Manila this holiday season. The inspection was led by DTI Undersecretary Attorney Ruth Castello, who roamed to different areas of supermarket to inspect various products. Castello has confiscated a rice cooker, mixer, and an electric fan that they found logo without license number.
This one, well, meron siyang logo pero without a license number, so it's considered as not certified. And then this one, may license number, but the license covers another product, not this one. O another model. Hindi siya, yung license number does not cover this model.
Castello said that the confiscated product is harmful and can be a source of accident to consumer.
Especially electronic products, hindi nyo pwedeng gamitin basta-basta nang hindi natetest o nasa-certify ng DTI. Kailangan ma-prove muna natin na ligtas siya gamitin para sa mga consumers.
Meanwhile, Castello stands firm that the 500 peso bill can still buy food items for holiday season. This is after she herself bought food bundles in supermarket. She added that this is sufficient for the holiday as long as the primary ingredients such as oil, pepper, and salt are present.
Yung mga pangsahog kasi pangluto, that's staple in every kitchen, di ba? Bawat bahay naman may kusina. So, hindi na natin sinama sa computation because naturally talaga meron tayong kahit asin, paminta, sibuyas, kahit maliit na sibuyas, bawang, mantika, at saka yung pinaglulutuan.
Those products that Castello bought include pasta bundle, corned beef, cheese, Pinoy pasty, and fruity cocktail with a total amount of 498 pesos and 20 centavos. Earlier, the 500 peso budget suggestion for Noche Buena by the Department of Trade and Industry received backlash after they stated that the said budget is sufficient for holiday food items. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
A new study suggests having a diet high in ultra-processed foods is linked to risks of having dementia. Ruth Bahe will tell us why live. Yes, Ruth, good evening. Yes, Marielle. The study published in JAMA Neurology explains that having 20% or more of ultra-processed foods in a person's daily calorie intake, equivalent to 400 calories in a day, significantly increases the risk of developing a cognitive illness, including dementia. As defined by the study, ultra-processed foods contain large amounts of oil, fat, sugar, starch, protein isolates, and additional artificial flavorings, colorings, emulsifiers, and other cosmetic additives. This industrial formulation of food substances provide little to no nutrient density and are known to increase inflammation in the brain. The study followed over 10,000 participants aged between 35 and 74 from 6 Brazilian cities for 10 years. According to the study methods, they were evaluated on their cognitive performance based on immediate and late word recall, word recognition, and verbal fluency. Study co-author Natalia Gonzalez from the University of Sao Paulo Medical School stated that people who consume more than 20% of processed foods daily led to a 28% faster rate of cognitive decline. Meanwhile, in America, dementia impacts 6.5 million Americans, which is also predicted to go up. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, estimates that 14 million Americans may be diagnosed with the most common form of dementia, or Alzheimer's, by 2016. Back to you, Marielle. Thank you, Ruth Bahe, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Marielle Latoza, reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
public transportation advocate slammed on Friday, December 16, the delay in the hearing of Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS company Grab Philippines, over its alleged overcharging practice. Lawyer Ariel Inton, president of the Lawyers for Commuter Safety and Protection, has criticized the rescheduling of the said hearing from December 13 to January 10 because this will allegedly result in more passengers to experience the possible overcharging. Earlier, the TNVS company has filed a motion to cancel the hearing on December 13, for some of their representatives have been allegedly exposed to COVID-19. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, has released a show cause order to Grab Philippines on December 6 due to alleged charging of 85 pesos for short trips or trips below 4 kilometers, which is considered as a violation of the minimum flag down rate. Based on LTFRB guidelines, the approved base fare for TNVS as of September are 45 pesos for taxis and sedan type, 55 pesos for Asian or sports utility vehicle types, and 35 pesos for hatchback types, and there should be no increase in the succeeding kilometers. Inton said Grab Philippines' presentation was not consistent because they're discouraging 1 out of 10,000 passengers, and he alleged that Grab is taking advantage of the supposed surge pricing, wherein the pre-minute charge and the per kilometer charges are multiplied by 2.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 8, it says, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. Those are the reasons behind the news December 16, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harley Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.